Hello, welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, and we're actually gonna be doing story quests. Well, sort of. It's like side quest stuff. But back in 6.15, they added 3 side story quests. So the first one, which we're going to be doing today, is the one for Omega. So for this one, you actually have to have done the Omega raid side quest. I don't know exactly how far you need to get into it. I assume you have to finish the whole story line of it, but I don't know for sure. So make sure you do that. There is also another one here, the Small Business Big Dreams, which is the Tataru side quest. And I'm just pointing that out because neither of these are marked with blue. Because they are, I suppose, just stories. Because it doesn't... Yeah, the reward is only Gil from this one. But that's what we're going to be doing for today. I don't know how long it is, so hopefully it doesn't take the whole time. Maybe we can do both. But for those of you who have not done the Omega story, I guess I can summarize it really quickly. So, at the beginning of Stormblood, or I guess the end of Heavensward patches, you see the fight between Omega and Shinryu, and they both go speeding off in different directions. So Omega actually landed in the desert, and what Omega does is it wants to find the strongest thing in the universe. So you go there through the different data scapes, and then you fight a bunch of things. So it's from Final Fantasy VI. You know, you fight X-Death, you fight Kefka, and then at the end you fight Omega, sort of. And then at the end of all of that, Omega and Alpha, which is the little chocobo, end up traveling the world, and you can see them around the world. So that's actually what the thumbnail is from. So during the Starlight Festival event, I saw them at the tree, and I was like, oh, there they are. I've also seen them in Mogholm, up in the Sea of Clouds. So you can see them all over the place. And they're, I would say, a lot easier to spot than something like Edda. But with that out of the way, let's get started. The Heartless Hypothesis. Let's blow the cobwebs away. Time to return to work. Goodness me, look who it is. How incredibly serendipitous that I would run into you of all people. I was part of the team which designed the Ragnarok, you see. We've recently begun the process of combing through the vessel's flight log data. The primary objective of your journey to Ultima Thule was to save our star and countless others, of course. It has also provided us with an invaluable trove of information, records of places and events we could only dream of. Your safe return gave us much to be thankful for. As it so happens, one of the things we pulled from the log was a transmission of unknown origin, something the ship must have intercepted during its flight. We believe it to be an audio message, but even our most talented linguists have been unable to decipher the language. For a while there, it seemed we must accept defeat, but today may be the day that we finally solve the mystery. If you were so inclined, would you care to come along to Thamzane? Seems fitting to have one of the Ragnarok's original passengers present to hear history being made. Sure. Where's the Thamzane? I see where the Ragnarok is. I suppose that does make sense. Hello, let me down to the Ragnarok. I think this is where I need to go. Yeah, that seems right. Oh, it's the song that I don't like. It's like one of the few songs in the game that I don't like. It's the weird, like, not quite music box theme. Alright. Ah, there you are. This is where we're to meet the engineers from Garland Ironworks who, I am told, potentially hold the key to unlocking our mystery transmission. They should be along at any moment. Oh. Who are those? Sorry we're late. We had some trouble finding the right... Gods, is that you, Joe? Oh, it's Biggs and Wedge? Or is it just... Oh, only one of them. It's kind of weird. Yes, the man himself. I ran into him at the harbor and thought if anyone deserved to hear this message deciphered, it was Gel Leto. No argument here, but bugger me if you don't have a knack for being in the right place at the right time. This actually has more to do with you than you might think, so please do stick around. Heh? Shall we pick up from where we left off then? Okay. As I was saying, we think this transmission the Ragnarok intercepted is a message of some kind, albeit in a language entirely alien to our ears. Alien being the operative word here, considering we received the message out in the great expanse, its origin was likely some distant star. Unfortunately, our list of off-world allies is presently rather short. Thus, we were resigned to the fact that the meaning behind the message would remain beyond our understanding. She looks scary. One of my colleagues, however, refused to give up. She remembered the Ironworks engineers who had been so helpful in the construction of the Ragnarok, and turned to them for insight into our seemingly impossible problem. Okay. Do you know what Wedge said when he heard what was going on? We should have Omega listen to it. I bet it can tell us what the message means. Yeah. Not the Omega you beat in the Rift, of course. He's talking about the toy that trundles around with Alpha, the little model we made. We originally designed it to follow a chosen target and not much else, but I've seen it act in ways that... well, it's like it has a mind of its own. Then I got to thinking about those documents our lot sent the chief. Or your lot sent the chief. The full report on the final days. Oh, okay. In the part about Omega's civilization, it said their people discovered how to convert the mind into data and store it outside the body. Timing being what it was, I wonder if Omega didn't somehow transfer its consciousness into our model right before you put an end to the real one. It's possible. Alpha! And I guess Wedge is here too. So, in an effort to get to the bottom of that, as well as take a crack at this indecipherable message, we decided to make some modifications. With help from Labyrinthos technicians, we've upgraded our toy Omega with a fully functional vocalization module. There it is. A little owl beetle. We played the transmission for Omega, and I think it's ready to share. Alpha. Are you in there, Omega? Is it? Affirmative. If by Omega you are referring to my consciousness, rather than my entire former chassis, existing inside this considerably smaller frame. Prediction. You will formulate several misconceptions. These I shall preemptively dismiss based on the following facts. 1. Vocalization module aside, this chassis remains unmodified from the design constructed by the engineers Biggs and Wedge. I evaluate its combat capabilities to be on par with a mortal infant. With a baby, okay. 2. The mechanism which allowed me to perform an emergency transfer of my consciousness was installed in my previous body. With the destruction of that body, I am rendered incapable of replicating such a feat. Should this current material form be destroyed or cease to function, all cognitive awareness or presence I possess will also be lost. Conclusion. I present no threat to you or your star, nor do my projections indicate the necessity to inflict harm. That's good to know. In the fraction of a moment before my annihilation in the rift, I re-examined my directives. If I am to fulfill my purpose as an evolving construct, then I must continue my journey for improvement for as long as I exist. I must acquire this heart of yours, this strength of soul. Okay. Well, there you have it. And it's not wrong about its combat capabilities. It'd be more likely to damage itself than the thing it was trying to attack. Okay. Well, let's not forget the reason we brought you here in the first place. What about the transmission they played for you? Could you recognize the language? Affirmative. It was transmitted in Pan-Galactic Basic. I see. Pan-Galactic Basic? A common language in comparatively extensive usage throughout the worlds we have conquered. Which means you can finally tell us what the message said. That is a language you understand, yes? I understand it perfectly. I am fluent in over 6 million distinct dialectal codings. Well, my cooperation in this matter, however, is conditional. Elaboration. Your Chief Sid utilizes the floor as part of his unorthodox filing system, which allowed me to scan the report on the final days. Sid! So he puts all his papers on the floor, huh? I am aware that my home star, the one you call Alphatron, was obliterated in the aftermath of Sir and Meteon's meeting. The existence of Dunamis was not previously factored into my projections, but I now comprehend the concept, in theory. What fails to compute is why the Omnicrons were not immune to its effects. Dunamis should have no influence on a race which possesses no heart. And yet, Sir expressed to Meteon a desire to cease existing, illogical. I guess that's true. I must pursue this anomaly further, until the full equation becomes clear to me. I must analyze all the elements of the final days and deepen my understanding of the heart's intangible properties. To expedite this process, I require an external interpretation of those sections of the report which continue to produce errors in my calculations. I request the assistance of Gel Lato. As one who experienced the ravages of ultimate despair on multiple fronts, and displayed immeasurable heart in engineering my defeat, he is the optimal choice to fulfill this role. Alpha. Alpha's asleep. So we either agree to your conditions or you tell us nothing. Yeah, pretty much. Sorry to put you on the spot like this, Gel. If you have the time and the patience to spare, we'd all be grateful if you could humor the toy's demands. I guess. You want me to go back there? Has Alpha dozed off? I suppose the subject was a bit technical. Oh, rouse yourself, Alpha. You must listen to and consider these matters, even as I must. Quack. Why don't you make a trip out of it? You know, actually visit the places that has the, things Omega wants to ask about. It'll make explaining stuff easier for one, and also help keep Alpha awake and alert. Yeah, I suppose that is true. Alright. Oh, speak with Omi. I can talk to Alpha. Quack? Quack quack? Do I care about you three? No, not really. Alright, Omega. I see you have chosen the mutually beneficial option. Logical. Setting aside the matter of Sir, there are 3 elements of the report on which I desire clarification. The first of these concerns the progression of the final days in Razathan. I recognized no pattern in those who succumbed to the transformation and those who did not. That's a bit of a trek if you wanted to chat with the locals. How about we lend you an airship? We do not require such outmoded technology. Shell's teleportation spell is the most efficient option for long-distance travel. This chassis is a model, essentially a toy, and Alpha, despite its organic composition, is indistinguishable from a stuffed doll. Conclusion. We qualify as material possessions. Pick us up, and you can teleport the 3 of us to our destination. Sure. Alright, me and my 2 toys. Come along, Alpha. Going on an adventure. Well, they're actually gonna teleport me away. Alright. Alright, so we should be in Razat, huh? We are. Omega. Bloop. Sensors indicate we have arrived at Razathan. Objective. Identify factors for resistance to involuntary transformation. Hypothesis. Unaltered survivors of the final days will display significant strength of heart. Confirming this theory will require the cooperation of live subjects. Where is the ward designated for residential habitation? The housing district? Understood. Comma. Set as our sub-destination. Please take the lead and select the subjects we are to interview. Oh, they're accompanying me. Okay. So, oh, there's a talking point over there. Okay, you know what? We're gonna walk there. Even though I think we can teleport as long as it's in the same city. But that's fine. We're gonna walk. Alpha. Discuss the stairs. Quack. Oh, quack quack. Quack quack. Alpha chirps enthusiastically, apparently unfazed by the prospect of climbing the stairs. Hello. Warning. Please avoid stairs whenever possible. My projections indicate high risk probability for accidental slippage, leading to catastrophic structural damage. Stepped inclines also increase my energy consumption by 63%. In mortal terms, they tire me out. Taking into account the difference in individual limb length, the design is inherently flawed. A convenient step height for one is an exhausting trial for another. Okay. Were I to oversee the civic design of this settlement, I would construct a sloped conveyor belt which enabled automatic traversal, 0 personal energy expenditure. But we need to go up the stairs to get to Kama, so you're coming with me. Hi, Ayumi. I'm bringing my 2 toys with me to the housing district. There's a lot of stairs in Razadon. Poor Omega. I don't think Alpha really cares, though. Yeah. Right. Well, I don't really mind walking around the city, because I do like the music here. Let's see, there are no other talking points. Yeah. Oh, look, it's nighttime. I forget if these like stronger glowing dots are always there or if it's only if you do the Astro quests. I don't quite remember. I don't know what you're talking about. What evil laugh? Alright. There's a melancholy man. Alright. Are you a traveler? Please, if you have a moment, I could use an outsider's perspective. Okay. You see, I was one of those who sought to escape the madness plaguing the world by fleeing to the moon. Not that we ever went in the end. So here I am, recently returned from Charlian. Except now things are strained between my sister and I, since she chose to stay and I chose to leave. I asked her to help me find work, as she suggests I look somewhere that isn't Thavner. So if I wanted to abandon my home, it makes me so angry. Well, your point is unclear. You elected to relocate to the star's satellite, thus your relative now perceives you in a negative light. Your sibling's judgment is in error. Based on the information made available to Hanish citizens, your decision to withdraw to the moon was both logical and correct. Conversely, the decision to remain in Razadhan, despite the low probability of survival, defies explanation. Perhaps her reasoning pathways are faulty. That's right. I'm not quite sure what you're saying, but I'm right, aren't I? Or so I'd like to think. The problem is, I understand why my sister feels this way. I almost decided against going myself. Even then, I wasn't sure that leaving behind everything I loved was the right choice. The way it all turned out, well, wonder what data Omega's gonna get out of this. Alright, hello. Oh, hello again. You're the one who came to ask me questions about Kazal. Glad to see you looking well after all that unpleasantness. Yep, it's me. I'm here with 2 toys. I remember the burning skies and hearing the screams, but truth be told, I'm still confused as to what actually happened. I only know it wasn't unusual for entire families to go missing. Many of my neighbors' houses lie empty even now. Kazal's place is one of them. He had no close relatives to speak of, and I heard that it was members of the consortium who came to remove his belongings. What a terrible thing to have to do. Terrible? Kazal's passing was recorded in the report. Clearing out his domicile and readying it for new habitation seems an appropriate reallocation of resources. Dear me, what a clever little contraption. But of course, I'm not against making use of his quarters. That would be wasteful. It's simply that Kazal was always such a vigorous person. All that passion, all those dreams, suddenly gone. I feel the same sorrow for everyone who is lost, seeing the remnants of those vibrant lives packed away in boxes. That is what I mean by terrible. Yeah? Oh. A person. Alright. And who is this? Just a normal Huron boy. Hello. Hey, don't I know you? Yes, after the beasts were taken care of. Told me to join everyone in the square. Thanks to you, I was there when Vitra gave his speech. Found out who Varshan really was. It's a shame we don't get to play like we used to, but Mama says Vitra has been busy putting the city back in order. Maybe I can work for him one day when I'm a man grown. Vitra. Midgard-Sormer's offspring, yes? And this child wishes to put himself at the worm's command, that he may make his own contribution to society. A pattern emerges. I predict that the Hanish survivors are those who had ingested Vitra's blood, become his draconic minions. Okay. Though dragons were no match for our civilization's might, their combat capabilities are not to be underestimated. It is unlikely they would experience emotions of dread or uncertainty as exhibited by lesser beings in times of undue stress. Dragons? I'm not a dragon, and I never ingested anyone's blood either. Ew. You are not of Vitra's horde? So you possessed no hidden means to fight off the beasts. What of fear, then? You were frightened? Yes, I was frightened. I just hid and hoped they wouldn't find me. At least until he told me it was safe to come out. Shell, I require a moment to process this input. Let us move apart and discuss our findings. Okay. What would you like to tell me, Omega? You don't understand people? Well, processing data. Evaluating hypothesis against accumulated evidence. I offered an optimal analysis of each subject's testimony, yet each time their responses conflicted with my assessment. Without identifying the root cause of this conflict, I will be unable to properly define what constitutes strength of heart. Let's see, perhaps it lies in the conflict itself. Perhaps we should continue questioning. I don't think Omega's gonna get it. Perhaps this matter is beyond you. Perhaps it's beyond you, Omega. Look, your response implies an absolute understanding of the answer I seek. Impressive, considering you understand not a single word of Pan-Galactic Basic. We will forge on with the questioning. Continue to educate me with your enlightened perspective. Next, I wish to interact with an individual who endured similar circumstances to Kazal prior to his transformation. Are you acquainted with any local merchants who had dealings with him? Oh yeah, the fish merchant. Gina Baha of Ruveda Fibers? Who? Acknowledged. Sub-destination set. Who? Over there? Okay. I would have just gone to Yadlamad, talked to the fish merchant that we helped. But I guess we need to stay in Razadhan. Which, I mean, there's a talking point there, so I guess we'll go to the talkie point. Let's see. Oh, hey, look, stairs. It's your favorite, Omega. I do like Omega's suggestion of putting, conveyor belts everywhere, though. Just run through here. What could go wrong? Can't get caught on these, right? No. They avoid them. Oh. I want to talk to Alpha. Quick what? Quick what? Alpha looks back and forth between Omega and the Hamza, showing visible concern. Why? Halt, Gel. Do not proceed beyond the fence. In this body, birds of that size represent lethal, unthinking threats. They will peck at my casing. Oh, they will peck my casing apart, searching for meat that does not exist. Conversely, Alpha can correctly identify my absence of nutritional content. If only he would apply that intelligence towards maintaining a regular feeding schedule. Poor habits adversely affect his mobility. Okay. Such a strange pair. Me. Oh, I guess I do vaguely remember you. Talked to a lot of people, though. Oh. You mean Alpha's right there? Omega's right there. Well, look who it is. I must thank you again for your help in moving our textiles. Recovering from those tragic events has been difficult, of course. But with everyone pulling together, we've managed to get things back up and running. Jinabaha, I come with questions related to that tragedy, specifically your survival of the final days. Although you are similar to Khazal in many respects, he succumbed to the transformation and you did not. Why? What is the critical difference between you and him? What? I'm sure I don't know. I'm not especially brave or courageous, if that's what you're asking. Perhaps being focused on protecting our workshops kept me from spinning into a panic. Still, I imagine Khazal would have been feeling the same sense of responsibility. Perhaps the weight of it all is what invited his demise. You are of the same mind, resolved to the same purpose. Yet your strength of heart, of spirit, was not equal. If merely emulating the individual is insufficient, then some other unseen factor must be involved. Not to interrupt these deep philosophical musings, but do you think I could ask you a small favor? What? There's a man by the name of Nashvan. Nashvan? He's been helping us out here while he gets back on his feet, but feeling he'd benefit from speaking with you. Leave by the eastern exit and you should find him just outside, organizing some new inventory items. Okay. East. Oh, there's a talking point over here, too. Whee! Alpha. Quick. Alpha puffs out his chest proudly, seeming to imply that his Ironworks uniform is the best attire anyone could wear. What a cute little bird. Alright, Omega, what do you have to say about this Thavnarian weave? The equipment being manufactured here, it is worn to perform specific duties, yes? Conceptually, it seems analogous to our practice of switching frames to better serve our mission objectives. I, for example, did not begin existence with the Omega model. It was originally supplied with a standard issue Omnicron chassis, serial number M-017. On this world, that alphanumeric combination would be considered my given name. Since designations were Such designations are drawn from our nearly infinite register of celestial bodies to avoid the possibility of duplication. Furthermore, the cluster known as M-017 is better expressed in your language as the Omega Nebula, the same word I used to introduce myself to your kind. Though you associate Omega with the advanced weapon construct, it is also my name, and I see no reason to change it no matter which frame I inhabit. I see. Well, that's good to know. Hey look, more stairs. Alright, so... Hey look, more stairs. Well... Are they okay? Oh, they're hungry. Well, that's not my problem. Hello. Oh, I guess we're actually back here. Alright, that's all our orders accounted for, and everything looks to be of good quality. Kamala will be pleased. You were with the Scions. You were there. Yes, I'm sure of it. I'll never forget that day. You and your friends helped us escape when people began changing into beasts. My own son, he was afflicted. And that huge monstrosity loomed right over him, and I remember my heart turning to ice, freezing in place. The satrap came to my aid, but then he too was gone. Yep. Didn't the sun-turned beast also get stepped on? The memories run together in my mind, like flashes from a nightmare. Only the words of your comrade still ring clear. I repeated them over and over like a mantra as I fled for my life. You must run, for their sake and your own. It all seems so surreal, which was probably what saved me from the transformation. The truth of it didn't sink in until the worst of it was over. I've not the words to describe how I felt then, the sorrow, the overwhelming sense of helplessness. But I may still be wallowing in misery, if not for my old friend Jinabaha. I lost my will to work, and he encouraged me with kind words and odd jobs. Now, somehow I live again. Thankful to him, to the courageous Ahawan, and to you. If you see your comrades, please let them know their efforts were not in vain. Will do. You said you lost your will to work. This signifies a cessation of efforts to maintain basic life functions, yes? What changed to extract you from that stagnation? An offer of work from Jinabaha should mean little to one without the desire to accept it. Was it some manner of mortal instinct? A primal need to survive and thrive? Instinct? No, it wasn't that. If anything, my instincts were telling me to lay down and welcome an end to the pain. Every day I think of my boy's final moments. I think of how scared he must have been, how it must have hurt. I want to scream my throat raw. Satrap, too, still haunts my dreams. See him being swallowed whole, and jolt awake in a cold sweat. Something changed when Jinabaha came to me. I looked up and saw that, even without my son or Ahawan, the world around me continued to turn. And because that fact grieved me so, I knew it fell to me to live on and remember them. Strange, isn't it? What drives me to rise in the morning is the very sorrow which once crippled me. Omega, do you understand? Now I really must return to my work. To lose this job after everything I just said would be a poor jest indeed. May the sisters keep you well. Bye. Sorrow. The emotion generated by mortals when their ideals fail to materialize. This I have observed. Yet, when I listen to how Nashvan's sorrow served to rescue him from near-fatal despondency, his logic eludes me. Am I incapable of perceiving the full measure of the heart's properties? My best projections failed to predict our subjects' responses, and despite their almost equal occupational and mental parameters, Gina Baha and Khazal exhibited different reactions to the dunamis effect. I am no closer to recognizing the pattern for involuntary transformations, and your ephemeral mortal spirits confound me as much, if not more, than they did before. Words are hard. Let's see. The hearts of others were ever shrouded in mystery. Even to you? This matter is more complicated than I initially calculated. If those possessed of heart cannot fathom the behavior of their own kind, then my lack of understanding is inevitable. My investigations here are exhausted. In lieu of a full conclusion, I will settle for storing this accumulated data for future analysis. Let us progress to the next element of the report, that you might continue my education. Okay. Alpha's so happy. Alpha's just here. Oh. Alpha. Quack, 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 quack. Alright. Oh, there's something. Goodbye. Oh, what is that supposed to be? I assume it's supposed to make letters, but I don't know what it's supposed to say. Alright. Our next destination will be Camp Broken Glass. I desire elaboration on the dealings between the Ilsabard contingent and the citizens of Garlemald. The report described the contingent's purpose as the salvation of the local populace. Furthermore, both factions faced a common enemy in the Telephoroi. Why did they not immediately combine forces to their mutual benefit? This inconsistency requires closer examination. Gel, initiate teleportation. Alright. Teleport away! Alright. You know, I forgot this was Camp Broken Glass. I thought we were going to the other one. What is it called? Well, there's Camp Bronze Lake. That's probably what I was thinking of. And I was just like, why are we going to Bronze Lake to talk to Gabu? Alright. Teleportation successful. Evaluating immediate environs. A cold weather region by Aetherius standards, but significantly less extreme than a star with ice planet classification. This body should not be unduly impeded. In contrast to Alpha and his uncontrollable shivering, my frame appears highly resistant to low temperatures. Oh, no, Alpha. Retrieving data. Records indicate that remnants of the contingent force and a number of Imperial citizens yet inhabit this location. We must speak with representatives from both factions and explore their respective attitudes. Well, proceed. Okay, they're accompanying me. Cool. Let's go talk to just two people. Yeah. Hello. Jell. Come to see how things are progressing, have you? You could say that. I can't speak for the overall strategy, but communication with the locals has become a damn sight easier since Julius and his soldiers stepped in to help. Oh, we still face our fair share of distrust, of course. Some folk even think we're enslaving minds with our foreign magics. Huh. We have Anima to thank for putting that idea in their heads. But all things considered, I'd say we're doing pretty well. Establishing an open dialogue was the first big step. Query. You consider this level of progress acceptable? The reality of your effort falls far short of the ideal. If your aim is to provide efficient succor to the local populace, then absorbing their numbers into your command structure would be the optimal path. Oh, I wouldn't want to go that far. We're not looking to take over their nation. If we're to do this the right way, we need to recognize and respect each other's way of life. So while it may not be the easiest solution, I agree with the contingent's slow and steady approach. I'm just happy we're saving lives. I don't know if talking to these people is gonna help you any more than the other people, Omega. You just can't compute. Alright. Oh, what are you doing all the way back here? Hello? A shadow from the past. Yes, I know you from Victor's spoils. Have you come to laugh at me? A wretch who chose to lose Lucinia and her sister rather than accept your help. The fool who ended up reliant upon your charity nonetheless. No. I honestly didn't remember who you were. Oops. Well, perhaps I deserve your derision. My compatriots surely scorn my failed conviction. I have shamed my people and brought dishonor upon my nation. I'm no better than a kept beast, my pride sold for a bowl of feed. My soul, nay, that you shall not have. I've refused your honeyed offers of a new home. This land is where I belong, and this is where I shall remain. Well, you demonstrate opposition to the contingent's overtures. On what basis do you refuse this cooperation? The data suggests the local populace is struggling to produce the bare minimum of sustenance. Have you some secret strategy for survival, or do your orders compel you to accept your present misfortune? What? Must I be mocked by a Magitech toy now? Oh no. No, I have no secret strategy, no binding orders. I but comport myself as any true Garlean patriot would, uncompromising, unbending. Blast it all. Once again, this input is unanticipated. Let us move aside and process what we have heard. Okay, move aside to here. Oh, there it is. It's hard to see on this map with all of these exclamation marks. Alright, Omega. What have you learned thus far? Are those my footprints? Accessing and analyzing recorded data. Integration complete. I have evaluated this most recent input and made comparisons to our discoveries in Razathan. Consistent only in their inconsistency, the responses from both contingent member and Imperial citizen were highly irrational. Conversely, any Omicron, considering their predicaments, would have echoed my assessment exactly. Omicron. The divergence from self-evident logic is key. Hypothesis. The illogical relationship between would-be saviors and suffering populace is another result of the unpredictable nature of mortal hearts. I guess they are learning. Any property or ability has inherent advantages and disadvantages. Yet never have I encountered such a unique detriment. It appears that those who share your metaphysical capabilities are prone to complicating simple cognitive processes. Thanks, Omega. An undesirable quality. I will, however, persist in furthering my understanding of the subject. Query. Prior to formulating our next step, I wish to know, who is this Licinia the Imperial mentioned? So they didn't want our help and she and her sister went into the cold and just died, I guess. I think they were attacked by monsters. Acknowledged. To summarize, insufficient data on foreign culture resulted in inadvisable and ultimately fatal action. I witnessed such self-destructive behavior during the course of our planetary conquests. Overwhelmed enemy forces would voluntarily withdraw into perilous regions, leading to a succession of inevitable losses. Tangential data request. I wish to learn about burial customs. The practice has ever seemed nonsensical, but new data suggests it arises from the same source as your cognitive complications. Thanks. Take me to this Licinia's burial site. It may aid me in Is it out of battery? Energy delivery systems compromised. Core temperature critically low. Warning. Immediate heating required. Request. Apply friction to outer frame. Rub some warm into Omega's frame. There's a fire right there. We can have you stand next to it. Blip. Blip blip. Temperature nominal. Energy levels stabilizing. The creators of this model must have experienced impaired cognitive reasoning during the design process. Oh no. Upon our return, I will request additional climate shielding, as well as an accurate temperature sensor array. This will not affect my combat capabilities, but should improve my basic survival rate. Reconfirming sub-destination. In which direction will we find Victor's spoils? That way. Acknowledged. Alpha, you are to remain in close proximity, close enough to envelop me in your feathers. You are permitted to carry me on your back, if you so choose. I see. Omega's funny. You know, when I saw that they added a quest... Victor spoils this way. When they added a quest that had Omega and Alpha, I was just like, yes! And then I forgot to do it. But that's why we're doing the quest now. Yeah, it's the robot that can't understand humans and his bird friend. And then I'm just here. Yeah, Omega was a strange robot. I guess a typical robot. Who's that soldier? We're here. Well, a deceptively deep snowdrift almost defeated me, but we have successfully arrived at the location you indicated. Caution advised. Barb friend. An unknown individual appears to be investigating the object of my interest. Hello. You're Eorzea's champion, aren't you? Gelato. That is me. My arm must be cold. Oh, I never introduced myself, did I? I am Manius, soldier of the First Legion and comrade of Julius. Perhaps you remember me from Tertium. We spoke about collecting ceruleum and again later on after Lord Quintus had passed. I'm glad they give me these flashbacks. No, I still don't remember him. I'm sorry. Oh no. But I will pretend that I do. Manius, explanation requested. What is the reason for your presence here? That must be the tiniest Magitech weapon no, it's just an oddly shaped communicator, isn't it? In any case, I have nothing worthy to report. I heard that the sisters who used to live in my sector were buried here, so I thought I'd come and pay my respects. Alphino and Alice told me the story, complete with profuse apologies, though they were adamant that no amount of remorse could erase the tragedy of what came to pass. Not that my fellow soldiers and I are in any place to judge. We were manipulated, fooled into starting an insurrection which led to countless deaths among our own countrymen. Objection. Casualties incurred during your infighting are distinct from those caused by the Ilsabard contingent. To restate, you are justified in seeking restitution from the contingent for causing the deaths of Licinia and her sister. Retaliation for damages sustained is also a logical progression. I can deduce 2 reasons why you do not initiate hostilities with Gel and his allies. 1. You judge your remaining forces too weakened to contend effectively with the contingent. 2. Your emotions are complicating the issue. Tell me, which of these is correct? Well, when you lay it out like that... I'm afraid my answer isn't like to win me any medals, so would you mind keeping this to yourselves? Okay. There's the unspoken thought that we're outmatched on the battlefield, certainly. But the real reason I'm not demanding restitution has little to do with weighing the odds. The simple truth is, I'm so caught up with simple survival that I've no strength to spare for past grievances. Same goes for avenging any comrades we've lost, be that my brothers in arms or Lord Quintus himself. Although, it seems everyone has an opinion about the manner of his passing. Some say he should have fought until the end, that he abandoned us to the enemy. Others praise him for taking the full burden of responsibility, freeing us to walk our own path. I don't know who's right and who's wrong, but I'm inclined to side with the latter. He gave us the choice of freedom, and that's the choice I made. I could cry and rant and rage, but what would be the point? Save my energy for worrying about my next meal, my next task. I need to focus on the ones left behind, making some life on making some kind of life for my comrades and me. And if I need to lean on the contingent to do that, then that's what I'll do. Even if their aid comes at a price, I'm willing to pay it. Even amongst your own, there are times when cooperation demands compromise. What matter that they're outsiders? That was a weird sentence. Besides, I think I could grow to like Alphino and Alice. They've reached out to us with kindness and compassion from the very beginning. Yeah, they're good kids. Summation. Your desire to survive, even should it mean allying with the contingent, was a feeling you already harbored. That your side had committed worse atrocities was the logic you invented later to justify your reasoning. Blunt but accurate, I suppose. The heart is honest about what it wants, even if the mind takes a while to reconcile the decision. Recalculating? Well, this has been oddly cathartic, but I must return to my duties. There are wild beasts to cull, watchfires to light, supplies to transport. Even without an emperor, there's no rest for an imperial. Be well and stay safe. Bye. Done recalculating? Upon review of recent input, I have arrived at an unexpected conclusion. I have been formulating my assessments on the premise that it was man who commanded the strength of his heart, but the data suggests the opposite is true. The surge of spirit, of feelings, of emotions, can entangle your thoughts to such a degree that even control over your own behavior is compromised. It seems a most counterproductive specification. This also explains why my interactions with mortal subjects have produced more confusion than clarification. It presents a formidable barrier to understanding. Well. Oh. Alpha's running to those graves. Well, my earlier hypothesis has been borne out. The suboptimal operation of being conducted here is the result of emotionally compromised reasoning. I am ready to progress to my third and final query. Okay. I would learn more about those referred to as ancients. It is clear that this group was a crucial factor of the final days, but the information contained in the report was insufficient to form an overview. The Loporrits are creations of the ancients, and are said to maintain repositories of their knowledge. By my calculations, the base of these moon dwellers will provide the best source of additional data. Teleport us to their burrow, Shell, preferably before my battery freezes over. Alright. Here we are. What's Alpha looking at? Big crystal? I guess it's okay. Alpha just likes to see the world. Alright, Omega. What are we figuring out this time? You need to find some Loporrits. Oh, let me sit up. Your teleportation spell was successful. We appear to have arrived at the location described as Best Ways Burrow. An inspection of the technology in use here would give me detailed insight into the ancients and their civilization. This body, however, lacks my previous frame's advanced observational functionality. I will require external assistance. You know, I just noticed, so the ground here is like grates with holes. Couldn't Omega, like, fall through those? Couldn't the Loperates, like, hurt their ankles? This is a very dangerous floor. Growing way? Hmm? No, it can't be. It is you. Oh, Gel, I've missed you so. What's this you've brought with you? This soft, feathery vision. We've been outfluffed. Pack up the moon. It's all over. Why bother with burrow-building bunnies when you could walk around with this adorable avian engineer? Just bake me into a pie and be done with it. I mean, Alpha is pretty cute. Inspect our inventions? Wait, so you're not done with us? I wasn't truly worried, of course. I certainly wasn't about to roll myself in dough and dive into cooking Way's new oven. Ahem. If a technical breakdown is what you need, then I am your Loperate. As the resident atmospheric regulation expert, I can field any question or query you might care to pose. Acceptable. I will employ this being to guide me around the facilities. Your presence is not mandatory. Even locked within my current chassis, I am still an autonomous construct that has endured hundreds of your life cycles. I am capable of completing this simple objective alone. Okay, so do I get to walk around with Alpha? Queh. No, Alpha, come back. What am I supposed to do? I just stand here. Objective complete. What happened to Growing Way? After my 50th question, his responses began to suffer noticeable delays. Yeah? By that stage, we had viewed a representative cross-section of Loperate engineering. Thus, I deemed it unnecessary to retain his company. Alpha. Conclusion. Extrapolating from the fraction of technology on display, the full spectrum of the ancients' advancements was, at minimum, equivalent to a level 4 civilization. Fact which demands further investigation. Despite establishing a near-ideal society, these beings nevertheless harbored a weakness which invited self-destruction. In studying them, I stand to gain a greater understanding of Sir's anomalous decision. Couldn't we just go to Ultima Thule and talk to the Omicrons there? Growing Way informed me that another type of ancient-made entity exists upon the satellite, the one they call the Watcher. I would speak to him. Okay. Then conserve your ether. We will ride this Argos to our destination, as you have suggested. Okay. Is Argos here? Or is it just... Okay. Do I really need to use Argos? I can just fly there, though. Let's see. Yep. Argos certainly is here. What are you doing here? Argos is pointedly ignoring the existence of Omega and Alpha. Why would you ignore Alpha? Quack quack. Quack quack quack. Impedance detected. The creature identified as Argos refuses to acknowledge our presence. Hypothesis. Upon our arrival, Growing Way expressed concern that he had been outfluffed. This suggests the existence of a fluff-based hierarchy. Oh no. My station in such a system would be predictably low, but Argos is adamant in ignoring even Alpha. Its fluffiness level is impossible to gauge. Argos turns to you with an impassive gaze. It seems you will need to intervene. Just think of them as luggage. Argos gives an exasperated snort before motioning to his back. Seems you have permission to climb aboard. You have secured the creature's permission. Curious. Is it your fluffy ears, which provide such exemplary standing in the hierarchy? Oh, so that means we get different dialogue depending on our race. Because I am a bunny boy, so I have the fluffy ears. Ayumi, you should do this quest too. See what it says for you. Although I don't know if you'd be very high up in the hierarchy. The fluff hierarchy. Wait, I have allowed myself to become distracted. Let us continue on to the Watcher at once. Oh, you did the quest? Do you remember what it said? Oh, no. Shakes my head. I mean, it wouldn't really stand out unless it was like a specific thing like that, right? Because I would assume like the Ellison and here and maybe the Lalafell are all the same, and then the Viera have a specific one. And then maybe the Makote? I don't know. Omega, it's the Watcher. The Watcher, located. An estimate of this being's height explains the inconvenient scale of Bestway's burrow. Indeed. Look at how big everything is. Hello, Watcher. I was bemused by the arrival of these small visitors, but I see they are companions of yours. What a rare thing for my abode to be thus crowded. How may I be of service to you? Hello, Watcher. My purpose here is to learn more about the ancients. I would know of their deeds, their philosophies, the very nature of their hearts. I would understand why the final days was visited upon my home star. A worthy endeavor, but there is another better suited to assisting you with that task. Perhaps you might favor us with a tale or two of the ancients you met during your travels, Jel. My fragmented memories would be a pale substitute indeed for the clarity of your more recent experiences. I suppose. Flashback time? No, I guess I just explain it. Elpis. The Elpis trio, because no one cares about Hermes. Man, I'm talking a while about the ancients, huh? Yes, I can envision every detail. Your meeting with Venat and Emexelk in Hythlodaeus. The sorrow and determination of Hermes. Well, I guess I did remember Hermes. I am a creation of Hydaelyn, and as such I have believed the age of the ancients would fade and be forgotten. Yet knowing that their memory lives so vividly within you brings me great joy. Pray you keep them close to your heart. Of course. At the time of your journey to the past, the one whose essence I embody would have been a scholar at Aniter. A shame. Had you reason to go there, perhaps you might have met. As a man of learning, he was firm friends with Venet. They spent long hours trading theories or debating the laws of the universe. I remember joining her faction as the final days bore down upon us. Yet of the events surrounding that tragedy, I recall precious little. Hydaelyn wished for the people of your age to decide their own path, thus I suspect my recollection was limited by design. Yet even she could not cut away one persistent memory. I feel most distinctly his sadness at what was to come to pass. That in becoming Hydaelyn's heart, Venet would forever stand apart from the people she so loved. If she were so resolved in her convictions, then he, too, would share her sleepless vigil over the future yet to unfold. Thus was the vow he made to Venet as her transformation took hold. Oh, so he watched her transform? Was that when she was walking through the mud? His fervent wish must have reached her in some fashion, for though his life was drained away by the summoning, he was reborn with new form and new purpose when I awoke as the Watcher of the Moon. And you heard, Joe. You felt. You thought. And in seizing the future for yourselves have you brought full circle the saga which Venet began. What you accomplished was no divine miracle. It was but the beacon of hope, passed down from one generation to the next. A succession of wishes and prayers reshaped the star into the world we knew you deserved. You have our deepest gratitude. I thank you not as myself, but as the man I once was, on behalf of those who devoted themselves to Venet's vision. Oh. Bloop bloop. I understand the facts of your story, Joe, but not how you have chosen to process them. On what grounds do you speak of Venet with such fondness? By sundering the world, she ultimately guided your kind to victory, yet in doing so caused irreparable damage to its individual members. The full scale of that act is beyond calculation. It is evident, however, that it resulted in a protracted period of suboptimal existence for Emet-Selch and his brethren. Query. If the survival of your kind is the deciding factor in your evaluation, then should you not also admire Hermes and his decision to subject man to a trial? No. Forcing you to change or perish, as was the fate of countless civilizations before you. From my perspective, his determination was similar to that of the Omicron's ancestors, those who first began trading flesh for machine, so that our people might stand against the onslaught of aggression from other races. It was an unprecedented attempt, accompanied by much failure and sacrifice. Our early experiments were crude, primitive. Had they not made those first advances, however, we would have remained vulnerable to our environment. The violence would have utterly consumed us. I see. And what of Emet-Selch himself? Judging by your retelling, he was a benevolent ally saddled with tragic fate. Yet I remember the years when my instruments fed me data from events across the entire star. During that time, I witnessed his Ascians engineer multiple instances of cataclysmic strife. These calamities, as you know them, were responsible for planet-wide destruction. A man whose endgame relied upon the extinction of all modern mortals must, by definition, be your worst enemy. I require an answer. As a being of heart and soul, how do you classify each of these pivotal figures? From your perspective, which of them was most justified in their actions? I mean, I think... yeah, they were all justified in their own way. Because they were just doing what they believed was for the best. Even if all of them came with very big downsides. I think I understand. You seek a definitive answer, yet based on our experiences, Jill and I might develop very different opinions. In the same fashion, you are free to form your own thoughts on the matter. Do not be so swift to consider them without merit. I do not have my own thoughts on the matter. I assess each situation with the same logic pathways available to every Omicron. Even if 1,000 Omicrons were asked to analyze the same event, they would all return the same result, regardless of individual experience. There is no strength to be found in fractured reasoning. Nonetheless, I find your input valuable, recording data alongside interview results. I mean, but by that token, all it takes is one Omicron to come to the conclusion of, like, existential despair for it to come to all of them. This concludes my investigation into the incomplete elements of the final day's report. I will reanalyze the accumulated information and examine the factors which led to Sir's incomprehensible decision. Bloop. Let us return to Thamazane. You gonna teleport me? No? I have to teleport myself? Of all the places you could teleport me to, it's the one that I want the teleportation you don't. Into my chair. Alright, back down the elevator. Yes. Oh yes, my danger noodle. Let us fly to Biggs. Someone down here in a cutscene. Don't mind me, person. Oh, I can talk to Alpha. Quickly, and Omega. It just blips. Alright. I see how it is. Ah, there you are, right at the last moment. Your journey with Omega was properly educational, I hope. We'd planned to ask you all about it in that mystery transmission besides, but I'm afraid something urgent has come up. Seems one of our Ironworks associates has fouled up a job elsewhere, and Jesse needs Wedge and me to rush in and lend a hand. There's an airship already waiting for us out in the harbor, in fact. Do you think you could escort us over there and talk as we walk? Acceptable. I am fully capable of speech during ambulation. Is that why it's called an ambulance? I guess I never really thought about that. I figured you might be. Right, let's get a move on then. Ambulation. So you've cleared up all those points of confusion then? I had mistakenly classified your intangible heart as an ability of some kind. An uncanny power that Omicrons could neither learn nor even measure. Even now, its full nature yet eludes my comprehension. Quack. Based on our investigations, however, I have decided to alter my definition. My katana's distracting. A phenomena which influences one's interpretation of reality. What's wrong with my katana? That is as close to an answer as I have found. Accordingly, Sir's actions upon meeting Meteon strongly indicate the presence of a heart. Sir did not follow routine logic, but formulated an independent assessment based upon the reality it perceived. It felt that the best recourse for the Omicrons was to cease their expansion and terminate all functions. Space. Alright, and we keep walking. He was bobbing up and down. Listen, I got this katana, I'm showing it off. Well, here's our ship. We need to be going, but first, I'll hold you to your bargain, Omega. Omega. It's time you told us what was in that transmission from the flight logs. Acknowledged. I will uphold the terms of our agreement. The recording salvaged from the Ragnarok was a simple one. The message is so basic, in fact, that the time spent listening to it may result in a net loss of value. Shall I continue? Now you're just teasing. Tell us the message already. Acknowledge. Converting dialect coding to local language. Back to closing the distance. To whomever receives this message out there in the vast reaches of the cosmos. To someone, I hope, who looks up at the stars with the same wistful gaze as mine. To you I say, forge ahead. May all our tomorrows be blessed with joy. Huh? Am I supposed to know who sent this message? And we all look up at the sky, into space. Or is it that there's life out there because we got a thing? This message had no designated recipient. It lacks purpose. The concept of joy is overly abstract. The vocal supplication to manifest said joy is unrealistic in its optimism. Yet, based upon their expressions, my assessment of the transmission value conflicts with its apparent impact. Even Omega looks up at the sky. And still, I fail to understand you, sir. Your heart still confuses me. Was termination of everything the correct course? How did you arrive at this conclusion? Alright, bye, Biggs Wedge. It defies all attempts at reasoning. But I was designed to evolve. If I continue to learn, the probability that I eventually comprehend this phenomena is greater than 0. Bye, Biggs. Bye, Wedge. So I'll put the dilemma of your decision aside for now. Oh, I do the cool 2-finger wave. And continue my existence upon this distant star. As I dwell among these many life forms, so will I continue to piece together the complete shape of their mortal hearts. I must document their progress. They're flying really high for that airship. Quack quack? Quack quack? Alright, Omega. Your contribution to my education is appreciated, Gel. Indeed, I have amassed a satisfying quantity of valuable data. Now that our negotiated business is complete, however, Alpha and I will return to traveling the world. Drawing on recent experience, I am confident we can expand the radiance of our ventures by a significant margin. We need not limit ourselves to Eorzea. I am now familiar with Sharlayan and Razathan, and would also like to revisit the freezing climes of Garlem. I neglected to instruct Biggs and Wedge to upgrade my climate shielding. I will reroute my request to Deputy President Jesse. Oh, no. You forgot. How can a robot forget? Engaging ambulation and parting salutations. Farewell, Gel. Bye, Omega. Bye, Alpha. What a cute little bird. Alpha gives a vigorous shake and draws forth a scrap of paper from under his wing. Queh. Seems he wants you to have it. Perhaps this is his way of thanking you. Music? Flow together? Oh, so that's how you get flow together. Swiftly, Alpha. The road is long and we have barely begun our journey. Bye, Alpha. Alright, music for me. I missed them. He forgot. He sure did forgot. Would it be faster? Am I this lazy? Yes, I am this lazy. So I guess we'll also do the Tataru adventure. And while we're here, because that only took like an hour and a half. So Tataru should be over here at the same place where we get our stuff. Or, yes, Magina. Hello. Small business, big dreams. I'm here. Gelato, welcome, welcome. I am Magina, assistant shopkeep and apprentice seamstress here at Tataru's boutique. Or Tataru's boutique, my bad. I doubt you remember my face, as I am merely one of the many who owe you our lives, but you'll always have my gratitude for saving me that day on the Evelyn Rhyme. I don't remember where that is, but it sounds like a cold place. Oh, was that when we saved all the Thavnarians in Garlemald? Or whatever? When Forshnal was there? You are too kind. And while I hate to ask aught more of you, please say that you're here to assist in Miss Tataru's new endeavor. Her what? Not yet, but he soon shall be. Oh no. The demon herself. Whatever would we do without your penchant for turning up precisely when you're needed, eh? I don't like that smile. Now, to make the long story of our solvency short, we've secured the resources to produce the new designs I developed in cooperation with guilds near and far, in a sufficient quantity to meet rising demand. We shan't rest on our laurels, however. To serve passing adventurers and the occasional intrepid Charlian is all well and good, but we're hardly taking the world by storm. No. Much like yourself, we must look toward new horizons. Roll title. The Scions prove that cooperation on a star-wide scale is possible. Would be fools not to capitalize on that to build the grandest trade network in history of Hydeland. All for the greater good, of course. Yes, of course. Yes, this is a wonderful opportunity to bring people together. I often think back to that incredible moment when the Garlean army came to our rescue. Perhaps our efforts, too, will one day lead to a miracle like that which took place on the Eblan Rime. I have no doubt that they shall, but we mustn't expect such alliances to form themselves. We must be proactive, and who better to woo our future partners in commerce than our current #1 customer, you? Am I a customer if I didn't buy anything? Our erstwhile comrades in arms know that when it comes to good equipment and better ideas, few have such keen eyes as our adventurer extraordinaire. Even should they hesitate at first, I'm certain you can convince them using the samples I've prepared. If you'll cover my aetherite expenses. But of course, with your assistance we'll have both coin and goodwill flowing in no time. Everything is falling into place. Where shall we send Gel first? Don't worry, I have it all planned out. Oh no. First, Limsa Laminsa. Sicard has the bloody executioners working harder than ever, so I'm sure... Oh, so he is sure to appreciate any extra supplies. Next, Gridania. The Seed Seers are a source of trusted authority and insight into the Shroud, so we'd not go amiss in cultivating the investment of, say, Arun Senna. I hear tell that he has some interest in affairs abroad, so the novelty of our samples may persuade him to our side. As for Ulda, I feel confident in pinning our hopes on Pippin. Oh, Pippin! He's always been a stalwart ally, and it goes without saying that he has more than a little sway in the Sultanate. Between his involvement with the Immortal Flames, the Syndicate, and the Colosseum, he's bound to find a use for quality accoutrements. Or accoutrements. Pretty sure that was the correct pronunciation. Accoutrement. With that out of the way, Magina, would you do the honors? I have 3 giant sacks to bring around to the major cities, I see. Never let it be said that Tataru was stingy with her samples. Now if you make your way to Limsa and climb aboard the Estelicia? Okay, I'm certain someone will point you in Sicard's direction. I have my own avenues of inquiry to attend to, but I'll check in periodically to see how your journey is coming along. Let's get to it. Okay. Sure. So oh great, to Limsa Laminsa. My favorite place to be. Where nothing bad ever happens. Okay, where am I going? Oh, down to the Fisherman's Guild. And over this way. I do like my new glamour. I'm glad we ended up clearing and I got my coat. Alright, where is this person? Why is this boat a maze? Who designed this? Hash swab. I recognize you. What do you want? I can't do accents, so I apologize. I can only press X to that statement so many times. As long as it's not about another bloody apocalypse, I don't see why not. Wait here. Alright, where's Sicard? Sicard. Oh, it has a little balcony. A balcony for me? Well, booger me. Thought we'd seen the last of you for a while. What brings you aboard? Your crew seems busy. No rest for the wicked and all. We're getting so many shipping requests that we've hardly put down anchor since old Charlian. You know, there was a time I thought pirating was the whole world, that being the best of them meant something. Going to Il Sabard made me see how small my world was, compared to the real one. Standing next to the star's finest, I started to wonder what I had to brag about. Then the bloody executioners went and did me proud, bringing in a bigger goddamn haul of adamantite than anyone else in the realm. Between that and the new metalworks we've got going with the kobolds, and the Sahagin looking to export their own wares, seems like the right time for the executioners to change our sails, so to speak. Which is all to say that if you got wares for promoting, I'd be happy to show them off across the realm and beyond. And there's a bag right there. Masterworks from Tatarata's boutique, guaranteed by the warrior light himself. Almost seems a waste to wear him. Folks will be lining up at the dock for these. Literally, seeing as Old Charlian's only accessible by sea. Now, if we got ourselves an exclusive shipping contract... Aye, I see the course clear as day. Now we just need a Manolane on board. Why him? He's right useless. Yeah. Could just stop there. He's right useless when there's work to be done, but talk's another matter. He still owes me one for keeping his sorry arse out of trouble, so I'll have him put me in touch with a few savvy salesman types on the continent. Enjoy your clothing. Tell Tatara I look forward to setting sail on this new tide of hers. May the winds of change guide us all right. Have fun. Jill, it's me. How goes our little venture thus far? Fine. Oh, Sicard's eyeing the shipping routes, is he? All according to plan. But our work has only just begun. I'll keep after my own contacts while you work on our rune. Here he's not often in the city, but I don't doubt that Mother Mione can sniff him out. Okay. And to Gridania we go. Except we can't ride mounts in Gridania. Here we go. Yeah, okay. Oh, go here. Whee. Mother Mion. Why, if it isn't Gel, struck with a certain craving for eel pie, were you? Or is it information you fancy? Ah yes, word of our seed seer's comings and goings never fails to reach my ears. I'm told that ever since he returned from his foray in Ilsabard, he's been roaming back and forth between our neighboring tribes' settlements and the Lotus Stand. You'll miss him if you make for one or the other, like as not, so I suggest you waylay him at the Blue Badger Gate. Okay. To just wait for him? Couldn't I theoretically just go and wait at one of the places? Like, I guess Mother Mione knows best. Where could he be? Harun. 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 Harun, it's me. Harun. I'm curious. Why am I talking to two children? Harun. Might I ask why you're loitering at the gate still, and with such an enormous sack? It's for you. I admit you've piqued my interest. To integrate the tradition and ingenuity of guilds throughout Eorzea in such a fashion is no small feat. As it happens, I'm of the mind to do something similar myself, assuming I secure the other Seed Seer's approval. It's weird seeing Arun's eyes. You are doubtless aware that historically, Gridania has placed the peace of the Twelveswood and our covenant with the elementals above all else, often to the detriment of our relationship with other peoples. Yet, much as we are one with the Shroud, are we all not also part of the Star Entire? Our ventures in Garlemald made plain the strength of a world united. The attire you carry demonstrates much the same truth. Yeah, too bad I never wear it. But perhaps you assumed you would need to talk me round to the idea. If so, I apologize for the disappointment. If 'tis any comfort, I'm nearly as surprised myself. No longer am I content to hear the words of the elementals alone. I wish to know the voices of men. Though our time in Garlemald has shown me that my ability to listen is average at best. These horns may mark me as gifted in the Twelveswood, but beyond, they inspire neither fear nor awe. I've been mistaken several times for a Xyla, and may as well be one, for any difference my status as Seedseer makes to those who want for succor. Glorified Xyla. Yet 'twas the selfsame insignificance that allowed me, for the first time in my life, to truly feel part of a greater whole. I am but one life among myriads upon this star. I dare say I should behave accordingly. With luck, my elder sister shall agree. Tell Mistress Tataru that her gift is accepted with gratitude, and that she ought to hear from us soon. Okay. My. Guess who? Did you speak with Arun yet? Just did. That sounds promising. I'm beginning to understand what makes our Seedseer friend tick. But we can discuss that later. You need to catch Pippin ere his duties take him from Ul'dah once more. I believe he spends much of his time at the Colosseum, so perhaps you should pay a visit to the Gold Court. I'll be awaiting your full report at the boutique. Whoops. I guess it wouldn't have made much of a difference if I had skipped it. Alright, where am I going? Where is that? Is that near the... Gladiators Guild? Yeah, I guess that's the closest. Makes sense. Alright. Huh. And hello. Can you take me to Pippin? I see. Marshal Tarpin is currently engaged in another meeting, but I shall tell him that Jell awaits his convenience. Oh, walked right through me. Right through me. Where Pippin? There he is. I see him. Pippin. Pippin. My apologies for keeping you waiting. Did not expect you here this evening. I brought you a sack. Tataru is offering quality material, is she? I can hardly say no to that. Fits almost too perfectly with my plans for the flames. I have long striven for mastery of the blade. I required the trials of Ilsabard, however, to truly see Tizona for what it is. The fire that warms the coldest night, the spark that ignites a blaze of hope. Most of all, an unbreakable testament to Father's faith in me. More ally than tool, it is a treasure beyond price. Does every soldier of the immortal flames not deserve allies such as this? Arms and armor to remind them of what they fought to protect, or what they fight to protect, to help them stand where they might otherwise fall. Indeed, works made possible only through the ingenuity and dedication of allies across the star may be just the sort of inspiring armaments we need. I anticipate that I will be sending along an order for custom equipment ere long. In the meantime, would you mind if I used these samples for a few trials here at the Colosseum? Go ahead, that's what they're here for. My thanks. We shall put them to use immediately. Good boy, Pippin. As a child of Old Owl, however, naught strikes fear into my heart like the prospect of receiving valuable goods for free. I must insist you accept something in return. I had been meaning to gift that necklace to Tataru. Its poor condition aside, she might rather have it than not. Necklace? I have spoken with Tataru at some length about our past, you understand. In many ways, we are quite similar. As you may recall, her family was bankrupted when she was very young, a consequence of her father's business failing. They were forced to put all their wealth toward paying off his debts and then some. One asset they reluctantly parted with was a necklace treasured by her mother, for which Tataru has long searched to no avail. Strangely enough, I recently discovered jewelry of the very same description amidst the store of neglected Colosseum prizes. Assuming it is the same piece, I should like to see it returned to her. It is significantly worse off for having changed hands, though. Only the sapphire centerpiece remains unlost and undamaged. She may appreciate the sentiment nevertheless, but it's difficult to say. What do you think? I mean, even if it's repaired, it wouldn't be the same. The memories it holds for her aren't lost or damaged. True enough. Though if it's to be a gift, I would prefer to at least clean it up a bit. Up to you. In that case, I'd considered asking the Goldsmiths Guild, but you ought to be able to turn the necklace into a piece that Tataru would wear, if not precisely what she remembers. I imagine you'll have the opportunity to pick up gems and other suitable materials on your travels. From there, it is merely a matter of unifying the pieces. Are you willing? What? Then I will have the sapphire removed from its setting and sent to the boutique with all haste. I doubt even Tataru would dare open a private package addressed to you. Best of luck in finding matching materials, and in your mercantile endeavors, of course. May the traders guide you to fortune fair. I don't know. Traders keep having unbalanced scales. Old Charlian. Pippin? You don't remember Pippin? Pippin's Robon's adopted son. Pippin's a good boy. He was also there when we escaped after that banquet at the end of ARR. That's when you, like, first meet him. You've returned, with your bag all the lighter for having given away our samples, I hope? Speaking of which, a parcel from one Pippin Tarpin arrived not bells ago, addressed to you. Could it be that our newfound partnerships are already bearing fruit? Her mother's necklace? Why, that's a wonderful idea. Please allow me to assist. I swear I won't breathe a word of this to Mistress Tataru. Oh, the kid from Gridania? He's one of the Pajal. So it's the elder sister who rules Gridania, and then the younger sister who's part of the White Mage quests, and then Arun just kind of goes off and does his own thing. Oh. He's there sometimes. I do wonder what parts you will need. Do you know what style Mistress Tataru prefers? If this necklace is to be a keepsake, why not focus on that? Who is it? Apologies. I could not help but overhear. That's quite all right, but do please keep your voice down. What was it you were saying? It simply occurred to me that, since you were gifted the sapphire so readily, our other partners in this endeavor may wish to offer up something for Miss Tataru as well. With such gifts, you could turn the necklace into a memento of not just her past and its trials, but her present successes as well. That's perfect. If our plans for the boutique proceed apace, we should soon have more than enough tokens from friends across the seas. What do you think, Jel? I don't see why not. Well, were you waiting for little old me? Mistress Tataru, we were, just discussing the successful delivery of the samples, yes. Good to hear. How fares dear Pippin? It's fine. I guess. I knew he would come through. I admit that I wasn't expecting to outfit a whole host of immortal flames quite so soon. I suppose it goes to show that even the most hardened warrior can always learn a thing or two. And Sigurd and Arun have changed as well, if your tales are any indication. I imagine their personal growth bodes well for that of our network. Thank you for checking up on them. We must sort through our current commissions before deciding who to approach next, but I know I can count on you to be ready when we are. Yeah. So this is gonna be an ongoing quest chain, I assume? So I gotta wait for a new patch. Oh well. That was actually a very short quest. And I guess I did kind of speed read through a lot of the big words. Big blocks of text. Yeah. I don't know if I want to do the even further Hildebrand for this one. So we'll save that for next week. Just because Hildebrand is always full of shenanigans. I have to make sure I've done all of my prereqs. I think I have. I should be caught up in Hildebrand, but just in case, I want to make sure I go through and double check that. And then we'll be doing Hildebrand next time. And then tomorrow is possibly finishing up the Summer Fantasia event. Not quite sure, because the story is sometimes long and sometimes short. But it seems like we have Fischl and Mona's left, so... Actually, it may be a whole episode for Fischl. Well, no, because we did Kasuha and Zinyan's in one, so we should be able to do Fischl and Mona's. I think you can check from the New Game Plus tab. I don't know. I know I can check from, like, Journal to see where I am in Hildebrand. So, oh, don't do the Dew Prism. Yeah, that should be the last quest that you need. I did the Scholasticate as well, but I don't think you need that, so should be caught up. I believe, actually let me double check, because I can check that right now, because I had the tab open for the where to find the Omega and Tataru quests. Let's see. Must complete Endwalker and don't do the Dew Prism. So yes. That one's in Razad Han, apparently. So, yeah. That should be fine. So we'll do... Apparently it's 2 quests. 2 quests of Hildebrand next time. So, that'll be fun. But, for now, that is all I have planned for today. So, thank you for coming out. I hope you enjoyed, Ayumi. I enjoyed, Omega. I'll be honest. Like, I'm always happy to see Alpha and Omega again. Because I know I already knew, like, basically what was going to come out from that when it was like, oh, Omega wants to learn about the heart. It's like, yeah, Omega's a robot. Omega's not gonna fully understand what the heart is. But... And Alpha didn't really do anything, but Alpha just needs to exist. And Alpha's doing all he needs to do. And then Tataru's grand adventure thing is probably just setting up for stuff down the line, because it sounds like crafter stuff. I don't know if they're actually going to make us craft anything, because it seems like something that everyone should be able to do. So it's probably just going to be, wait for each item, slap them together. Here you go, Tataru. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I'm also excited for Hildebrand. Curious how it continues from where we left off. So we'll see how that goes. But for now, that is everything we're gonna do for tonight. Thank you for coming out. Hope you enjoyed. And I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.